I went from 16 stone to 12.5 stone in just over a year. But more importantly, I've managed to keep that weight off for over 4 years. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I did it. So let's start off with just some of the rules that I'm going to use to show you how I did this. So let's start off with the facts that I used to achieve this weight loss and to continue it. My weight loss is based on restricting my calories, same as you would for anything. This is normally done by changing your current diet into something else, whether that be keto diet, 5-2 fasting, or cutting down on carbs, etc. So I didn't do any of that, but I couldn't escape the fact that I need to burn more calories than I take in. That's what you need to do to lose weight. That's a fact. Exercise has played an important part in my weight loss. So I've used it as a tool. You can't use exercise to lose weight alone. You cannot out-train a bad diet, and that is a fact as well. But I use running as a tool, and that helps me burn more calories during the week. So over many years, I've tried to lose weight, as many of you will have tried to do as well. Unsuccessfully for many years, so I went through the normal routine of trying a diet, losing some weight, can't keep the diet up, put the weight back on, then carry on and put more weight on, and then think I need to do another diet. So go out and try something else and go through that same routine time after time. This time I decided to try something different. And what I thought was, my diet, my normal diet that I've been eating it for 40, 50 years. And within that time, it's changed very little. So my diet now probably still looks something like the diet I had in my teens and in my 20s. So I thought, how can I work with that? My body obviously is that used to that diet that changing it is never going to work, and it never has worked. So what I did was I started by writing down everything I ate for a week. That diet was not particularly healthy. It had things like chocolates, crisps, processed meats, etc, etc. However, that's what my body's used to. So over a week, I put all that down. And I added up all the calories using one of the tools you can get on your apps to see how many calories that was. And as you can imagine, it came out as a lot of calories. So then I looked at how many calories I was burning per day and per week. And I did that using my Apple Watch or any other smartwatch you can use, and tracking the calories that I burnt, both resting calories. So by resting calories, I mean if I was lying in bed absolutely still and did nothing, these are the calories that would be required to keep me alive. So they're resting calories. Active calories are everything else. So they're when you get out of bed, or if you got out of bed and moved around, work, washing, ironing, cleaning, hoovering, and your fitness. They all add to your active calories. Adding your resting calories and your active calories together gives you your overall calorie burn. So in order to lose weight, obviously that needs to be more than what you put in here. And when I looked at my normal diet over a week, it obviously wasn't. Therefore, putting weight on. So I looked at that diet and I thought, okay, what can I do to limit that diet while still maintaining that? Still eating the things that aren't particularly good. So not cutting out completely chocolate, crisps, processed meat, mayonnaise, etc. But how can I change it just to bring those calories down somewhat so I can create that calorie deficit, but I'm not feeling like I'm on some completely alien diet that I just can't keep up and that I give up after a few weeks. So I started cutting down, looking at the days, and said I had, I don't know, a bag of crisps every day for dinner. I'd maybe have a bag of crisps every other day. By then, if I cut out 3 bags of crisps, that's what, 400 calories. If I had a chocolate bar, cut one out. If I had 2 or 3 a week, cut it down to 1, but still have it. After tea, normally had some form of chocolate biscuit, a wagon wheel or something like that. Tried not to cut them out if I could. And I still had crackers with butter on as a supper as well. So within the fairly poor diet that I had, I tried to cut down and limit it through different days, cutting out different types of foods until I got into a deficit. And I tried that, and I was running 3 times a week, generally about an hour. The calories I was burning on that were about 900 calories per session. So probably about 2,500 calories per week were from running. And that's not totally accurate because my watch isn't totally accurate, but it gives you a baseline, gives you a rough figure to work on. So that was really helpful. And then if you think of the things that I cut out of my diet just every other day, mayonnaise, going to a low-fat mayonnaise over a normal fat mayonnaise, those made quite a big difference to my daily intake. So with both of those added together, I managed to get into a calorie deficit. And the weight started to come off. Came off quite quickly to start with. Then as I dropped weight, it was more slow. But by then, I'd got into the routine. I didn't feel that I was restricting my diet, and I felt good. One thing I did do, I was religious in planning my diet for the following week, or my menu for the following week. I used to weigh every morning, so when I got up, first thing I did, jump on the scales, so it's the same time of the day every day, and check my weight. Now I'd get used to, obviously after I'd done a run, the following morning, you guarantee my weight would be under, it would go down. The following day, after not training, it would go up slightly. But I got to learn how that was working, and I could almost predict what weight I was going to be the following day. I got that good at it. Calorie intake, I track my calories with an app called MyFitnessPal, which is free. But when you track your calories through that, you obviously have to weigh them, weigh your food, or scan the barcode on the back of food and put how much you have in from that. But you have to be accurate. If you try and cheat that and cheat the amount of calories, you're just cheating yourself. So, for example, if I said I'd eaten 2 jelly babies, but really I'd eaten 8 jelly babies, I'm cheating myself because my calorie intake, I'm saying it's lower than it is. And then obviously I'm creeping back up where I'm going to be in that surplus calories as opposed to being deficit. So definitely do not cheat yourself when you're counting your calories. Now I've done that for 4 years. So I've tracked how many calories I burn. I track how many calories I eat. I weigh every morning and log it. And also I run 3 times a week, and I try and keep that consistent as well. That means that I've got a very rigid program of what I do, and that is the key to me keeping the weight off, because I do it religiously, I do it accurately, and do it every single day, which sounds like a hassle. It means I've managed to keep the weight off. Now it isn't hassle, it's just become a habit. I permission myself to eat stuff or more stuff if I want to. So if I fancy a bag of crisps one day, I really fancy a bag of crisps, I'll permission myself to eat that bag of crisps. But I make sure then that I go back onto the routine the day after. So I don't let it continue. I think, right, I permission myself for a bag of crisps, let's get back on it the following day. And that essentially is all I do. As I said, it's become a lot easier now because it is habit, and I maintain my weight within a set tolerance. So I've got to be between 12.5 and 13 stone, and anywhere in between that half stone band is absolutely fine. But what it does show is, as I creep up to 12 stone 13, I have to think, right, you've obviously permissioned yourself a little bit too much, so start just cutting down on something again. Only has to be for a couple of weeks, the weight drops back off again, I'm back in the middle of the band, and that's absolutely fine. So that is how I A, achieved my weight loss, and B, continued to do it for 4 years. And I'll continue to do it for the next 4 years, I am sure. I have no issues now that I think that I will put weight on, because I'm just eating the normal foods that I normally eat, just less of, and being very conscious of what I eat, how many calories I eat, and when I eat them. So I wouldn't advise anyone to do it at all. As I said at the beginning, I'm no expert, but it worked for me, and it might be worth just having a look and seeing if you could do something similar. I would say get some advice first, don't just jump into that. So my diet's not particularly healthy. However, I've stayed at 12.5 stone or so for 4 years, so that's not too bad. I get a health check every year. My cholesterol's within limits. My heart rate, resting heart rate, is low. So I train quite a lot. So I think I'm in pretty good shape really, even though my diet isn't the best. So if you liked this video and would like to see the tools I've talked about, so how to track the calories that you burn, how to look at the MyFitnessPal app and what you need to do on that, and I can also share a couple of the very simple spreadsheets I used for tracking food, weight, etc. If you want to see some of that, please let me know in the comments, and I will put another little video together that shows all that.